Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing 5 mistakes that I made in college. This is kind of a getting to know you video and it's quite personal, so I'm slightly scared because it's my first time to do this kind of video, but let's do it! I graduated 2 months ago from Ateneo de Manila University with a degree in communication. Unahan ko na kayo, communication is not just for news anchors kasi yun yung common perception ng ibang tao. There are actually a lot of fields that you can choose to go into. If you have a degree in communication, you can go into advertising, public relations, corporate communication, marketing, journalism, production, media studies, and a lot more. Pet peeve ko kasi when people say na pang news anchors lang ang communication and na madali lang siyang course. Actually, it's not. You have to push the limits of what's already there. You have to create new content. You have to create new ideas. So, medyo mapipiga yung creative juices mo. And it's not that easy. So, before saying it's easy, study it first. Ang daming angst. As a student, I was very grade conscious. I was very goal-oriented. As in, gusto ko talaga every class maka-A ako. And at the same time, I also had extracurricular work. And I also had rackets on the side outside school. Now that you know more about me as a student, let's now go to the 5 mistakes. So, mistake number 5. Focusing too much on grades rather than learning. ACADS was my #1 priority back in college, and I say this with no shame that I made it a point not to get grades lower than B's back in college. I know na sasabihin ng iba, ha, masyado ka naman grade conscious or nerd ka or wala kang life. Well, totoo naman, and you know, I'm proud. It made me fulfilled as a student. Although hindi naman nasunod yung no grades lower than B's kasi may math kami nun and I sucked at math. Kung based lang sa effort yung grades ko, walang lower than B. That's what I mean. So, in our school, we get to choose our schedule, our profs, our classes, and I would research beforehand on which classes to take that I would learn the most but would require the least effort. Kasi I really wanted easy A classes at first. Kasi nga I wanted to graduate with honors, but you know, eventually I realized na walang kwenta yung letters lang sila. If I don't have something valuable to take away from the classes, and if I don't have anything that will help me when I eventually work. So, ba't ako magsasayang ng effort for that? So, during my 3rd year of college, I mustered up the courage to take legendary profs who were known for very strict grading, but were very insightful and inspiring teachers. I realized that by going out of my comfort zone and by giving more, I can actually become a better student and I don't have to choose between grades or learning. My advice, why choose between grades and learning when with sufficient effort you can actually have both? It won't be easy and it will require you to do more, but in the words of an Atenean, kailangan talaga ng magis. And as with almost all things na binibigyan mo ng effort, it will be worth it in the end. Mistake number 4. Being too much of a control freak. So, I'm the kind of person who likes planning out her day in advance, the night before, right before I go to sleep. Planning out my schedule and doing to-do lists give me such a rush. I'm the kind of person na the night before, ganito na yung gagawin ko.
Okay, so tomorrow, 7 to 8, wake up, eat my breakfast, get ready for school. 8 to 9, travel time to school. 9 to 10, attend my first class. 10 to 11, go to the live. Start doing my paper na due 2 days from now. 12 to 1, go to my second class. 3:15 to 4, balik ng live, uulit doon, finish up what I'm doing. 4 to 5, usually meeting yan for something. And then 5, susunduin na ako from school, so 5 to 6, travel time ulit, going back home. 6 to 7, eat dinner with my family. 7 to 9, okay, yan yung flexible time. Pwede ako mag-social media, manood ng series, manood ng movies, read something aside from my readings. And then mga siguro 9, babalik ako back to work na. 9 to mga 11:30, finish up, study for quizzes, long tests, whatever for my orals. 11:45, schedule the next day. And then 12 o'clock, go back to sleep.
Galing, di ba? And if may interruption yan, naiirita ako. So, when people make plans, they have to tell me ahead of time, like 1 to 2 working days before so that I can fit it into my very busy schedule. I was that kind of person back in college, and that left little, if any at all, room for spontaneity. Yeah, And siguro, if I had learned to let loose or to go with the flow more often, I would have more interesting mistakes to tell you. Like, one time, I went to Tagaytay during my 6-hour break and missed my test. But then, no, my mistakes are boring. And you know, I probably would have better stories to tell if I had learned to be more spontaneous back in college. You know, pag tumanda na ako, lola na ako, ang sasabihin ko sa mga apo ko, mga apo, alam nyo ba, nung bata pa ako, nag-aral ako 6 hours straight sa library. I would be a very good influence, lola, but I'd be a very boring one. So my advice, you don't have to be in control all of the time. Sometimes, kailangan mo rin mag-let go. No hugot. Mistake number 3. Not being outgoing enough. So imagine this formula. ACADS being my top priority, plus not knowing anyone during the beginning of college, plus being a naturally shy, naturally introverted, awkward person who is always scared of initiating conversation, plus being anxious in social gatherings. Do I even need to tell you what that would amount to? Factor in the fact that I am terrible with names. Okay, gusto ko mag-reach out sa person na to. Nakasalubong ko. Gusto ko ako yung unang mag-hi. But then, medyo mabagal yung paghugot ng brain ko sa name mo. If may nakasalubong ako, tapos yung greeting ko lang, Uy! Kamusta? Yeah, yun yung nangyayari. So I'm very sorry and I know I need to change that. I need to exert more effort in that. So my advice, college is also a time for you to expand your network, to build connections, and to nurture genuine friendships. I wish I had exerted more effort in that. I wish I had reached out more. And it's not that I didn't have friends or anything. Sana lang mas nag-effort ako to be more approachable, to be more friendly to other people that I don't get to interact with on a daily basis. You know, most likely the people that you meet in college, you'll be meeting at a latter point in your life. It would be nice if these people were not just blurred faces in your memory, but familiar, friendly faces who would remind you of your good times in college. And hopefully, ikaw rin for them. Number 2, not giving enough importance to my health. Okay, medyo seryoso to. So at several points in my college life, I felt like I was spreading myself too thin. This was especially during my senior year kasi syempre nandun yung thesis sem, which as all seniors know is very stressful. Yun din yung sem na meron akong 2 major subjects that were very heavy workload-wise. That was also the time that I stepped up as a committee head for a big project for one of my orgs. Kapag wala ako sa school, nag-VTR casting pa ako. And then kapag kunwari may friends na nag-a-ask if pwede ba ako mag-shoot for their business or brand, parang ako lagi, G, go lang! Walang kapaguran si ate mong girl. So yun, hindi na ako halos natutulog, obviously. And then, what's really bad is that I also have terrible eating habits, especially when I'm stressed. I know some people tend to binge eat when they're stressed, but ako, when I get stressed, I start to skip meals, which is something that I'm not proud of. Something that I know I have to change about myself. My blatant disregard for my health had terrifying effects on my body. Kahit ako, syempre, natatakot ako nun. But I just downplayed it and dismissed it as pagod lang yan, kulang lang ako sa tulog, mababawi ko rin naman sa weekend. And my family and my friends were very scared for me kasi my weight started dropping sharply. My immune system weakened exponentially. At first, medyo normal na yung pumapasok ako ng may sipon or ubo, like every day. And then, minsan pumapasok na ako ng may sinat or may lagnat na masakit yung ulo, hindi na ako makapag-isip in class. Because, you know, priorities in life. Apparently, hindi kasama dun yung health ko. So, my advice, hindi ko alam ba't ko ito ginagawa, but my advice, we live in a time and place where being busybodies, doing a lot of things, pulling all-nighters, these are all normalized or sometimes even glorified. And I'm not saying that it's bad to be busy, that it's bad to want to accomplish a lot of things per se, but it becomes bad if you do it at the expense of your health. And I don't just mean your physical health, because your mental and psychological health are just as important. That's what I did not realize back when I was a senior. It's okay to get tired. It's okay to pause, to breathe, to rest, and to ask help if you need to. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay lang magkulang sa iba, pero huwag ka magkukulang sa sarili mo. Ay! No hugot yan! No hugot! And we are down to our last, number one mistake. And the worst mistake that I made in college was that I fell in love. Cause baka may time. Speaking of time, my worst mistake in college, the real one, was that I waited around too much. I waited until my sophomore year until I joined an organization that I knew I would be passionate about. I waited until my junior year until I signed up for a legendary terror prof that I knew I would learn so much from. I waited until my senior year to step up as a committee head for a project that I've loved for 3 years. Eventually, during my senior year, I realized that college is just 4 years of my life. I realized that 4 years is not a lot of time, and I don't want to spend the rest of my college life waiting around and just getting what ifs in return. True enough, my biggest mistakes, or like my biggest regrets in college, were the things that I didn't have enough courage to do rather than the things that I actually tried out and failed at. So my advice for all of you, as the quote by Lemony Snicket goes, if we wait until we're ready, we'll be waiting for the rest of our lives. If you're scared to try something out, your fear only signifies that it means something to you, that it's somewhat important to you, and that makes it worth a try. I have nothing against waiting. Knowing when and how to wait is good. And there are certain situations that really the best thing you can do is just to wait. And you know, patience is a virtue, and waiting builds character, and your attitude while waiting says a lot about you as a person. All I'm saying is that you can't be stuck in that phase forever. If you think that the process, regardless of the end goal, whether you're going to succeed or not, is going to make you grow into a better, wiser, stronger, and more loving person, then I think you owe it to yourself to give it a shot. Kaya mo yan. Sorry, napakasabaw ko while filming this video, but I hope what I said made sense kahit papano. Oh, and if you have a valuable lesson that you learned from college, you can comment it down below so that other people can learn from you as well. And if you like this video, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!